dang, like where's all this coming from? What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new video, new vibes on my YouTube channel. You're always welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Keionna, for those of you who don't know. And as always, please make sure you're signed into YouTube to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell to join the notification crew and sprinkle some love on that like button to better help this channel grow. As you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about my pregnancy story today. I finally built up the courage to come on here and share my story with you guys, even though I am at a place in my life where things are not perfect or as I had intended for them to be or had expected for them to be. But here I am being as transparent as possible with you guys. As some of you guys may already know, I have a son. His name is Ermias. He is the love, the light, and the joy of my entire life. And I just wanted to share my story with you guys because I don't know if there might be somebody out there that this video may help or you can relate to my story. For those of you who may care about my story or want to get to know what I experienced, or if you just want to know what it's like to have a baby, then I think that this is a really good video for you. I have always been very reluctant to talk about my pregnancy just because I feel like the internet can be very anti-children sometimes, and then like on the other hand, I feel like having children can be super glamorized. People don't really share the truth, the real, the rawness of having children enough for me, and I think that's why I was very like hesitant to post about my story. I just felt like a little bit silenced in a way. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's really no real in between when it comes to social media and pregnancy. It's either really good or it's really bad. So I'm here to share the real with you guys today. I'm separating this video into two parts. So this is going to be part one. This is where I share my actual pregnancy story, like what it was like, what I experienced when I was pregnant. And then the part two, the second part, is going to be about my labor and delivery. I feel like because those are like two completely separate stories. The first thing that I want to say, get married first. If you're thinking about having children or if you ever want to have children in the future, first things first is you just want to make sure that the person that you're with is 100% there for you, they care about you, and you just want to make sure that the person that you're with or your partner, whatever, has really good intentions for you, because there's a lot of BS out there. Let us start off with when I found out that I was pregnant. So I found out that I was pregnant. I actually remember the date. I found out that I was pregnant September 5th of 2020. I thought I had COVID. I was so sick and I was taken off of work and I really thought that I had COVID. So I went to the CVS to get tested for COVID. And while I was there, I was thinking, let me pick up a pregnancy test just to make sure. Lo and behold, I took the pregnancy test and it turned out that it wasn't COVID, that I was actually pregnant. That is when all of the feelings started to like rush, like the emotion. There is no feeling like that. You feel it all at once and it's just like crazy, it's overwhelming, and it's really not something that you'd ever really want to go through alone. When I found out that I was pregnant, I was terrified. I was so scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to finish school? Like I was literally on the verge of graduating. I wasn't quite there yet, so I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to finish? But luckily I did wind up finishing and it all kind of just worked out perfectly that way. When I found out that I was pregnant, I immediately told my boyfriend at the time that I was pregnant and I was scared, and he was like, okay, we gotta move, we gotta do something, we have to make it work, we have to figure this out. I was like, okay. We decided to move in together. We got our first apartment together. That's where I gave birth and everything to the baby, like not actually at the apartment, but that's where I lived at the time when I gave birth. So yeah, we moved in together. From that point, I was attending all of my doctor's visits, checking in, making sure everything was okay. I hurried up and had to get like my health insurance squared away and get in with a good doctor. I personally chose a black doctor. I chose a black doctor so that I could feel more safe, because I've heard like really crazy stories, and you know, as a black woman, like I just really want to make sure that I'm being protected and that I'm safe. And my baby is safe. That was really important for me. I cannot wait to tell you guys about the labor and delivery. Like, that part was actually crazy. For my first trimester, I was completely sick. Like, I was always sick. I had what was called morning sickness, and I think there's like a more scientific term for it. I'll put it like right here. I was sick all the time. I was literally vomiting, projectile vomiting everywhere, and it was like in my home, at my office. It was just not the move. I was crazy sick, and then my doctor prescribed me with medication that kind of like subsided the pain or the sickness, and I literally relied heavily on that medication to function. I could not function if I didn't have the medication. I would have to take off of work because I just literally could not handle it. I was having food aversions. I was having like smelly versions, tasty versions, all types of stuff was just turning me off. He let me know early what foods he did not like. He did not like Panera bread. He didn't like Chick-fil-A. He doesn't like deep fried foods and none of that stuff. Like, he was like, Sometimes I thought that the baby was like mad at me because like how aggressive the morning sickness was coming on. This baby is mad at me. So I like cut out fast foods and all that stuff. Only fast food that he loved Chipotle. Chipotle was his favorite food. I just remember whenever I'd eat Chipotle, he would be so happy. My stomach would just be so calm. He would be so relaxed, but he would also be like really active, like kick, 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 kick. It was just harmonious. Like, we were like working together, and like he just felt so good. Like, I just know he was like really happy. Like, he loved some Chipotle. My morning sickness lasted the entire first trimester, and then thankfully during my second trimester the morning sickness went away and I no longer needed my medication, so I was very thankful for that. I went the rest of my pregnancy without taking any medication. I had so many cravings when I was pregnant. Cravings that I used to have when I was like a little girl, like foods that I've eaten when I was a little girl, like hot dogs, hamburgers, buffalo wings, and I was just like, really? My cravings would fluctuate and they would change like every hour, and I was just like, really, baby? Dang, like, where's all this coming from? That was really cool, but like I really tried to like maintain a healthy diet throughout my pregnancy. So I was eating berries, fruits, vegetables, all types of healthy stuff, and I drank a lot of water, and I made sure to like, I learned how to cook. I just started like making all these meals, and he just really loved my cooking. Like, I never had any problems with my cooking when I was pregnant with him. That was a really accomplished feeling. I had a pretty stress-free pregnancy. Of course, there was a little bit of drama here and there. There was some drama, but it wasn't like nothing crazy. For the most part, I had a pretty stress-free pregnancy because everybody around me was just so nice, and that really put me at ease. The major thing that bothered me the most, and I did not complain about it at all. I really did not complain my pregnancy because honestly I felt like all of it was God's work, and I just was leaving everything up to God till it was work. And I'm just like, you know what, like, you can use me, God. I'm your vessel, and I'm gonna just keep eating right, drinking my water, making sure I'm being active and doing what I need to do to stay healthy for this baby to come. But other than that, I did not really complain. My ankles were getting swollen, my face was blowing up, I was gaining weight obviously, and nothing was like as it normally would be, but I just kept a smile on my face the whole time and I didn't complain. The main thing that did bother me was the fact that since I was carrying more weight than usual, my walk kind of like slowed up. Like, I could not walk as fast as I usually would. That bothered me. It really made me realize how much I value my own pace. It was really throwing me off how slow I was walking, and then like I began to waddle at about like maybe like 6 months, and that was really crazy. And it was also kind of cute too. Like, my waddle was really cute. Like, I was a really cute pregnant girl. Waddling experience was just priceless to me. I actually hid my pregnancy from my family for about 5 months into my pregnancy. I just didn't feel like it was the right time to tell everybody like as soon as I found out, and I just kind of wanted to fill myself out first before going and like sharing the news with everybody. When everybody found out, it was nothing but positivity and good vibes and support, and that was like more than I had expected or what I could have ever asked for. So I was just so grateful and so thankful for that I had such a great support team and system behind my back to uplift me and encourage me and share any information and knowledge and wisdom that they have with me to better help me along my journey. So I was really grateful for that as well. Right before I shared the news with my family that I was pregnant, I actually discovered that my boyfriend at the time was, let's just say he wasn't 100% fully committed to me and our relationship, and that was extremely hard for me to take in, and I kind of just brushed it off and just kept on moving on as if, you know, there wasn't a huge problem, there wasn't a huge red flag that I had saw. Going back to the whole idea of, you know, you want to make sure that you're married and, you know, you found the right partner and everything like that to have children with. It's very important. Never let a man make the decision for you or about what you want to do with your body. If you want to have children, if you don't want to have children, they cannot give birth to children. So they have no idea what women go through and what it takes to like have a child. That is just my word of advice for all women. I'm not married or anything, I'm single, and I know that there's like a stigma. There's like the stigma of single mothers. It was really, really hard for a long time for me to see myself past a relationship and being a single mother, because I truthfully did not want to be a single mother. I just always wanted to do things differently from my parents. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but I'm making the best out of my situation and what I have. I have God to rely on, and I have friends, I have family, and I am happy. I feel like talking about all this is I'm not as emotional about it right now because I didn't really share too much about my personal relationship with you guys to begin with, so it doesn't really like affect me. It's not really like hitting me hard right now. I don't know, I feel like I'm a really tough cookie, so that could also be why. Other than that, my pregnancy for the most part was really good. Like I said, had no real complaints about my pregnancy. However, the labor and delivery was a totally different thing for me. I did not go out and buy a bunch of maternity clothes. I literally was bumming it out in my sweatpants the whole time because it was like winter time when I was pregnant. I could cover up my belly and like wear like hoodies and crew necks and stuff like that, and nobody really knew I was pregnant for the most part. When they realized that I was pregnant, they were like, "You're pregnant?" Like my belly was really small up until like my third trimester. Like people were like, "Your baby, he's so tiny," and I was just like, yeah, like I had a really cute pregnancy. I had a really cute belly. Like my belly was so cute. I gave birth to my baby in April of 2021. That was like around like the time it started to warm up a little bit, but it was still a little bit, you know, like it was springtime-ish. But ultimately, I feel like I was pregnant at a really good time for my situation and everything. I gave birth when I was 25. I'm now 26. So that was a year ago. I was pregnant during the pandemic. So I have a pandemic baby. And I attended every single doctor visit, and my doctor worked with me throughout my entire pregnancy, and like they gave me a plan and everything on like what to expect. They gave me lots of information of programs and things that I can look into, research that I could do, apps and stuff that they have out there for pregnant women to help guide them along like week by week, day by day, whatever you need, whatever information you are looking for. The healthcare professionals will provide all of that information for you, which was great. In addition to having my regular checkups and everything like that, I was also doing everything that I could within my power to stay healthy and stay active. I worked throughout my entire pregnancy. So I was sitting in an office my whole pregnancy. Like I just feel like working and being pregnant is wild. Women should not have to work when they're pregnant, but hey, this is the life that we are living in. This is the world that we live in. So I worked, I made my own money. Because I worked, I had to take maternity leave ultimately for, you know, ultimately to give birth to my baby. I started to contract. Okay, I started to have like the false labor, fake me out, going into labor, cramps and contractions, like a couple of days after I went on maternity leave. And that was crazy. It was so scary. I was literally driving, and I started to have like the fake contractions. I called my boyfriend and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm contracting right now. I'm about to go into labor. He's coming, he's coming. I was like, I gotta come home, I gotta come home. I couldn't even go. I could not even drive home because I was like contracting. I was so scared. I had to like pull over for a little bit and just like take it all in. And eventually, like I got home, I called my doctor. They were like, it's false labor, like you're not ready yet, call us when you're ready. So I was just like, okay, wow, like that's what it feels like contracting for the first time. Never thought that I was ever gonna, like, I didn't know what that, like, pregnant, you guys just, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, because obviously I was inexperienced, I did not know that it was gonna be like that. I mean, they explained it to me that it was gonna be like a little bit painful, but when I felt it, I was just like, oh no. No. But it was also like really exciting because that meant that the baby was on his way. I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming. And I started to pray. I was like writing in my journal. I was like, oh my gosh, God, like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited. I was a little nervous. I was a little scared. Ultimately, it was just a really happy time in my life in general. I wasn't gonna let anybody or anything take my joy away from me. That was one of the major things for me that I felt like was really important, was to just not let anybody ruin my happiness or take it away from me during that time, because that is a really, you know, special time in a woman's life. So this is where part 1 of my pregnancy story ends, and make sure you guys go check out the part 2 to my pregnancy story where I share my labor and delivery. I'll see you guys in that video.